Episode 7 of Paradise is one of the most intense yet, bringing us back to the day of the supervolcanic eruption. The episode blends disaster, politics, and personal stakes, showing how people in power make impossible choices while individuals fight to save their loved ones. The episode opens with a devastating reminder of how fragile civilization truly is. The supervolcanic eruption is sudden and unstoppable, triggering a chain reaction of destruction, tsunamis, earthquakes, and total chaos across the world. Entire cities are swallowed by water, buildings collapse, and millions of people are instantly thrown into panic. The most striking part of this opening is how unprepared the United States government is. Scientists had predicted that they would have had weeks to prepare, but the eruption arrives much sooner. This is a key theme of the episode: human arrogance in the face of nature. Despite all the technology, research, and planning, nature still proves to be beyond human control. As the disaster unfolds, the White House is thrown into crisis mode. The goal is simple: protect the leadership and maintain order. Evacuation plans are activated, military flights are arranged, and top officials are rushed to safety. However, outside the White House, millions of people have no escape. One of the most important moments in this sequence is the president's speech. He is asked to record a pre-written message that reassures the public, telling them that everything is under control. This is a common tactic during crises. Leaders try to keep people calm, even when the situation is far worse than they admit. The idea is that panic leads to an even faster breakdown of society. However, Bradford, who has been watching the destruction unfold, begins to question whether lying to the people is the right thing to do. He sees the horror in real time. Entire regions are being wiped out, and rescue efforts are failing. The White House's plan to keep things under control starts to feel meaningless when the world is already falling apart. While the episode focuses on the global collapse, it also tells a deeply personal story through Xavier. His struggle to save his wife, Teri, gives us an emotional connection to the larger disaster. It reminds us that, no matter how massive the crisis, people will always fight for their loved ones. When the eruption begins, Xavier immediately thinks of Teri, who is on a business trip in Atlanta. He knows the city is doomed, but he refuses to accept that she is out of reach. He turns to Bradford, using his position in the government to secure her a spot on a military flight. This moment highlights a harsh reality: not everyone gets a way out. Only those with power, connections, or luck have a chance to escape. However, even with a place secured, Xavier faces another problem: communication is failing. The disaster has knocked out mobile networks, making it nearly impossible to reach Teri. He cannot guide her to the evacuation site, and he has no way of knowing if she is even alive. This helplessness is heartbreaking. Xavier's struggle is about more than just saving his wife. It reflects the larger theme of control slipping away. At the start of the episode, Xavier has hope. He believes that with the right people in power, the right plans in place, and enough effort, his wife can be saved. As events unfold, that hope fades. No matter how much he tries, things spiral beyond his control. He has access to the president, military resources, and inside information, but none of it can guarantee Teri's survival. By the end, he is left with nothing but uncertainty. He doesn't know if Teri made it to the base, if the flight took off, or if she was left behind in the chaos. This loss of control mirrors the collapse of the world itself. The government, the military, and even the president are losing control, just like Xavier is losing control over his own personal mission. It doesn't matter how much power you have. When disaster strikes, no one is truly safe. As the world crumbles, Bradford makes a choice that changes everything. Instead of reading the prepared speech, which was designed to keep the public calm, he decides to speak the truth. He goes live on air, telling the American people that the situation is worse than they were led to believe. There is no real escape, no real plan, just the cold reality that the world as they know it is ending. This moment is about control versus honesty. The government's usual approach in a crisis is to maintain order by managing information. If people believe everything is under control, they will stay calm. But Bradford sees the truth. There is no order left. The disaster is too big to contain. Telling people false hope would be a lie. And he believes the public deserves to know the truth so they can decide how to spend their last moments. It's a powerful and deeply human decision. It shows that even in high-stakes political environments, morality and personal responsibility still matter. But it also has terrifying consequences. As soon as Bradford's live speech airs, the situation inside the White House explodes into chaos. Many of the staff members realize they are not part of the evacuation plan. They are being left behind. This triggers desperation, and desperate people make dangerous choices. Fear turns to anger. People who once worked side by side now turn on each other. Survival instincts take over. Those who feel betrayed by their leaders become violent, willing to do whatever it takes to escape. Xavier and his team are forced to fight their own people. Not enemy forces, not an invading army, but fellow government workers who now see them as an obstacle to survival. This moment captures the brutal realism of human nature. When people realize that death is imminent, they don't always act rationally. Instead of working together, some lash out in fear, turning an already deadly situation into an even bigger disaster. On Air Force One, Xavier confronts Bradford after realizing that he never truly intended to save Teri. Bradford urges him to board the plane for his children's sake, creating a heartbreaking moment of conflict. This scene highlights a core question in the show. How do you choose between duty and personal loyalty? Bradford's role as a leader requires him to make the harshest calls, but Xavier sees it as betrayal. Their argument is one of the most emotional moments of the episode, showing that even among those who survive, there are no real victories. The most shocking revelation of the flashbacks comes when Bradford chooses to activate the blue option instead of launching a nuclear strike. This EMP network, secretly installed after the Cuban Missile Crisis, shuts down all electronics worldwide. His logic is that by disabling nuclear weapons, he gives the survivors a fighting chance. This decision reinforces Bradford's belief in a long-term future for humanity, even at great cost. However, it also dooms countless people who relied on technology to survive. The debate between Bradford and Sinatra over this action reflects a larger theme in Paradise. Is it better to ensure survival for a few or fight for dominance at the cost of total destruction? The episode's final twist changes everything for Xavier. Just as he is about to move forward with his coup, Sinatra drops a bombshell. Teri survived. She had been searching for her family, meaning she never gave up hope despite everything that happened. This revelation does more than just shock Xavier. It completely shifts his motivation. Throughout the episode, Xavier's story has been about helplessness. In the flashbacks, he was unable to save Teri, unable to communicate with her, and ultimately forced to board the plane without knowing her fate. He was a victim of the disaster, trapped by forces beyond his control. But now things have changed. He finally has power. Sinatra gives him a clear choice: go through with the coup and risk never seeing his wife and daughter again, or give up his rebellion and reunite with his family. This moment is brutal because it forces Xavier to question everything he's fought for. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.